GM everybody, today I wanted to jump on to give a bit of an overview of the new Dune dashboard that has just been released by Orderly Network, and also just introduce you to Dune because some people may not have used it before. But basically, as you can see from the official tweet here from Orderly, they've made some reports that show you what the volume is, cumulative volume, what is the amount locked in specific vaults. They've got all that ready for you to use, but what you can actually do is you can tap into the data source that they've created and build on top of that and do really what you want with the data. So that's what I wanted to take a look at today. So let's jump into it. Okay, so jumping over to the Dune dashboard itself, you can see it's a really sleek, nice and simple design that Orderly have put together that shows you really the key pieces of information. And here you can see I'm just playing around a little bit. I've gone onto the filter at the top and I've selected a specific broker rather than all of them. When I do that, it'll then prompt me to run the query. I select run in the top right corner and it says I have to spend some credits, but you get a ton of credits for free anyway with Dune once you've made an account. So what you could do is you can run the query, costs you nothing unless you go over your limit for the month. And you can get that up-to-date real data. And that data set is actually provided by Orderly, so you don't need to do anything. It's all stored on Dune itself. So yeah, it's a really neat way to visualize your data. And this is, as I said, this is the dashboard that has been made by the Orderly team. But what you can do is you can actually go one step further. You can access the data source that the Orderly team have provided, and then you can build custom queries and custom visualizations on top of that. And that's one of the things I wanted to really do a little bit of a demo of today, just to show you what you can do beyond what has been provided. Okay, so once you're familiar and happy with the actual dashboard that's being provided, you can then jump into the specific queries. So if I select Orderly daily trading volume, it'll take me through to this page and it will show me the actual SQL query and the visualization. And what I can do is I can build on top of that. In the top, there is a create button and I can go to select a new query. And under this section, you can see that there's data sets on the left. So if you go into the community section and then search for Orderly, it'll show you Orderly Network and it will show you this data set for the trading summary. And if you hover over the little eye icon, it'll show you what that data looks like. So we know that this data set shows daily trading volumes, but just as an example of what you can do, what type of query you can build, I want to take it and show weekly volumes rather than daily volumes. So here you can see I'm just starting to set up a basic SQL query. So at the minute I have select all from this data set. What you can do is you can double click on elements in the left pane and that will input into the actual console, your SQL console. But here I'm just saying that I want to select date truncate, and that's because I want to make it into a week rather than showing the daily value. And here I'm casting the volume date field into a date because on the left hand side you can see that that is stored as a varchar. So I need to convert that and then I name it as week. But I've got my brackets wrong, so I just need to correct that. So that will get us the date field, and then we need to actually sum the volumes. So the volume field is taker volume, so we can sum by taker volume, and then we want to call that vol. And then because we're doing that aggregation, we need to then group it. So you can group it by that element, that weekly element that you've got at the top. So I can copy and paste that down there into the group by bit, and then I want to order it by that as well, in ascending order by default. And that didn't work there. I think that's just because the comma wasn't provided, so I enter in the comma between the fields, and there we go. We can see that we've now successfully created a data source showing the weekly volumes in ascending order. And that is, really, as you saw, it only took a minute or two to bring that together. And Dune's really neat. It's got this visualization section, so you can take your data set and then very easily convert that into bar charts, line charts, pie charts, whatever you really want. Just as an example of how I can go further with this query, I can also start to break it down by broker ID. So I add broker ID in as a field, pulling into my data set, and then I add that to the group by clause as well. I then rerun that query, and you can see that there's an extra column on the right side now that's been brought in called broker ID. If I then go to the visualization that I've made, I can then include broker ID in the group by element, and then on the left side I can select enable stacking. So that is now displaying that, but we can see that there's this weird broker orderly that shouldn't be there. We really only want to see logx and Wi-Fi Pro. So just back up to the original query, and I can add in a where clause that says where broker ID is not equal to orderly. And then once I'm happy with the query, I can scroll up to the top, and there you'll see that there is a save button. So if I select save, then that will pop up in this window, and then you can give it a name, and you can choose to either make it private or make it public. As this is just a test data set, you can see the code. I'm just making it private, but really you could choose if you want to distribute these visuals for others to use. So yeah, that's a brief summary on how you can build your own query on Dune. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you very much all for tuning in. Hopefully you found that useful and insightful. Dune's a really, really powerful tool that's used across the crypto world. And it's great to see that Orderly Network have chosen to embrace that to visualize and show the vast amounts of data that they have. I'm really looking forward to this expanding over time as there's more brokers that start using the Orderly Omnichain infrastructure. We'll start to see these charts change quite a bit, I imagine. And yeah, really excited to track that as we go into the bull run and volumes start expanding. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Probably best to hit me up in my DMs on Twitter. My Twitter is in the description below. But yeah, thanks again everyone for tuning in. Have a great day and happy trading.